Why do I just fucking pass out? My mental stability is fucking fragile, dude. I'm nothing. Collapsing. Suddenly I collapsed and the world around me vanished. I heard that another team had some problems with scientists of theirs who ended up being banned from their research center. She apparently performed experiments on humans who were redacted. I can also sympathize with her. These are just in those like the symbols. I could switch that to the normal text. It was dark when I woke. It seemed like no one had bothered to help me. I tried to get up, but I couldn't. My whole body was paralyzed from hunger. Something was shuffling by my ear. Okay, that's different. I thought I was gonna die again. I was like, what's the right answer? I felt the sniffing of an animal, perhaps one of those cats I saw earlier. I couldn't bring myself to look. It lost interest and walked past me towards the plants. I heard more follow. As they padded into view, I noticed that something was off about them. It must have been my mind playing tricks on me. My hunger was overwhelming. Something about their bodies was wrong. They started to eat the plants. They were smacking rather loudly and made unnatural fleshy sounds. Every now and then one would pause and give off a low growl that didn't at all sound like a cat, more like a slightly higher pitched bear growl. Fuck that. After a while, the sounds diminished and I felt their presence vanish. Vanish? Did they walk away or did they just fucking... I'm not going to say that they got Thanos snapped because that's stupid, but like, did they get Thanos snapped? Like, what happened? I gathered my strength and forced myself onto my feet. You couldn't have done this that whole time? You just forced me to listen to the worst ASMR I've ever heard in my life? Why? Why? What had just happened? Where were those creatures? The violent crimes that I had heard about earlier popped into my mind. My hands began to shake slightly. What would have happened if I hadn't been paralyzed and if they had noticed that I was still alive? Most house lights were still lit. I mustn't have been out for long. Once again, my body gave off a deep growl. It was as if my stomach was eating itself. I had to get some food or else I was in danger of collapsing again. Being as desperate as I was, I approached the next best house and knocked. I was surprised when the door actually opened. Hi! No, I'm just going to do her the good old smooth girl voice. Hi there. Come on in. How nice of you to visit. Visit? You don't know who I am. Do we know each other? Facts! You don't know me. Before me stood a fashionably dressed woman with a big smile on her face. At first glance, she seemed welcoming, but her movements were rather stiff and almost mechanical, as if they had been practiced over again. She took another more thorough look at me and seemed to realize that we did, in fact, not know each other. Ah, you must be a new neighbor then. Please, come in. She disappeared before I could correct her. I hesitantly followed her inside. Okay, it got better when she realized that it's not a guest. Maybe she's just gets a lot of guests. Happens. Oh, another nice apartment that's way whitewashed. Holy shit. I must be hiding something. It's fine. Only on my way in, I saw a food bowl near the entrance with some of the strange-looking plants I had seen earlier in it. Sus meter max, brother. Sus meter max. Maximum sus. Huh. She'd been feeding those to her pets. I peeked after the woman to the living room. A man leapt to his feet as he saw me and stretched his big hand out to me. His other arm hung down limply. Apparently, he wasn't able to move it. Hi there. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing? I reciprocated his firm handshake, and he cheerfully gestured me to take a seat beside him. To my surprise, the girl who had helped me earlier was here as well. She gave me a small wave. Schizophrenic, or the town is evil. Either is possible. Evil anime towns are the worst, dude. I don't fuck with that. They come up with some weird shit in Japan, let me tell you. Hell no. Man. It's starting to feel like a festivity. We should have neighbors. We should have neighborhood get-togethers like these more often. Oh, right. This is She turned and frowned in my direction while trying to remember a name she hadn't asked for. Scott. I'm Scott. Right, Scott. He moved in nearby recently. I think so. I thought we should invite him in as well. Certainly. It's nice to meet you. Oh, no, I'm not really. Oh, right, food. Give me a second. The woman rushed into the kitchen and came out with a steaming dish of food. A steaming dish of food. Do with that what you will. That is sus as fuck. This is as sus as it gets, bro. I could make out different kinds of meats, baked potatoes, and more. There we go. There's the description. My stomach gave me off a deep growl, and my mouth began to water. You fucking animal. My mouth was watering the second she answered the door. I'm done. Any thoughts of honesty about my origins was gone. Facts. I'm in this house party now, baby. The other visitors started piling the food into their plates, and I followed suit. As I devoured it and life came back to my body, I let my eyes wander over the others. Everyone seemed to be rather tense, especially the woman and the man. Their movements were rather stiff. Every now and then they would throw a glance each other's way. Fuck! Glances that seemed to indicate mistrust. The woman seemed to especially be eyeing the cup that the man was drinking out of. Every now and then when they'd notice each other's looking, they'd put on a fake smile. The girl seemed like she hadn't planned to be here in the first place. Was she just dragged into it, just like me I was? As I was cleaning my plate off its scraps, something important flashed into my mind. Excuse me, would you mind if I use your phone? The woman tisked. I'm afraid I don't have one. I never cared for those buggers. Bitch! She's the only real one. She's real. This one's real. This one's real. Fake. Might be fake. He looks a little angry. Why is he so angry looking now? She looked over to the man. Maybe he can use yours. Of course. I can show you to my house once we're already ready to go. I gave off a sigh of relief and thanked the man. He waved his hand in the air. No problem at all. Please excuse me for one moment, though. And he's gone. He shuffled out of the room, presumably towards the bathroom. All right, I'll make some more tea. She's gone. She scooped up the man's cup and let me alone with the girl. I cleared my throat and nodded in a direction. Thank you again for lending me your phone. I did appreciate that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope you have more luck with the landline. Yeah, I hope so too. And I guess that was the end of the conversation. Perhaps she felt uncomfortable speaking to a weird, smelly stranger. I'm going to go wash my dishes. And there she went. The other two were talking in quite a while. Say, man! Fuck! Why do I get so tired while I do this shit? I used the opportunity to let my eyes wander around the room. The walls were dressed with paintings of all kinds, pictures of nature, as well as more abstract drawings. A fancy-looking framed piece of paper and a photograph that was standing on the drawer and beneath them caught my eye. The former seemed to be an art degree, and the latter a picture of the man and woman when they were younger. They were standing somewhere that would be a university campus. Both had a genuine smile on their face. It seemed like their friendship went back quite a bit. Girl. Hey. Whoa. Did she sneak up behind me? I thought I had clear view of the kitchen entrance. I think I heard some rumbling coming from the downstairs. I'd probably be good if we checked it out in case she hurt herself. She was likely referring to the woman who had invited me in. You did? You did? She's been gone for quite a while now. Maybe something did happen to her. Perhaps I should take a look. I felt her eyes follow me to the basement. I squinted down the stairs. It was almost pitch black. I swallowed back my nerves and carefully crept down the steps. Don't take pride in front of this random bitch. Hell no. Take a dab. Dodge roll. Dodge roll. Dodge roll. I'm dodge rolling. I'm out of here. I'm taking the front door. I ate. I'm good. I'm running through the night. Pick a road. Run down it. I'm gone. Fuck. Fuck this town. It's too sus. Maybe I should have called out to the woman, but something told me not to. I managed to reach the bottom of the stairs and peek around the corner. There I saw the woman kneeling by lampshade, in front of the large cage. A basket of the strange plant sat beside her. There, there. It's all right. Take a good sniff of the cup. We need to hurry, okay? I know that he's growing one, too. Everyone is. Everyone wants to get rid of the competition. We need to hurry. She held the man's cup to the bars. Something in her voice disturbed me. What was going on? I wanted none. Whatever was going on, I wanted no part of it. I returned to my living room as quietly as I could. There you are. There you are. All ready to go. Upon hearing the man's loud voice, I jumped a bit. What I had seen in the basement made me a bit anxious. I took a quick look around and saw the girl was already gone. Sure. Yeah. Sure. I'm ready. Woman. Huh. Leaving already? I just made some more tea. I turned to see the woman standing in the living room entrance with a put-on smile. Sorry, dear. I'm just not young enough to stay out late like we used to. I may not be as good as I once was. If you know country, you know that song. I don't really know that song. I listened to it one time. She put on a playful pout. Oh, you don't wound me. Come by again. You know we're welcome. You know you're welcome any time. We bid our farewells, set into the cold night. Sometimes the wording is so weird and I can't read it, and sometimes it's very straightforward and it's like, that makes sense. I was glad to leave. I'm burpy and sleepy. Fuck. Loud. Give me a second. My throat is like, bitch. Bitch, you guessed it. Bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. But juice, right? What I had seen was still nagging on my mind. The man might be in danger. I had to tell him. I hesitated. How was I supposed to tell him? When I, myself, wasn't sure what I had seen. But I collected myself and went for it. To my surprise, he was nearly as upset at the woman as I thought he would be. He actually seemed to be more upset at me. Wasn't nearly as upset at her. I think you should not have snooped around in someone's house who invited you over. I was left perplexed. What just happened? I thought I was warning him, but instead I've been scolded like a child. His face relaxed, and he gave me his usual smile. It seemed slightly pained this time. He just read your mind. Deadass just read your mind. Sus. I suppose there's been no harm done. Perhaps he just didn't believe me. I couldn't blame him. I noticed more and more vacant houses as he crept through the town. Sandman. Some were boarded up. Doors had been left wide open. Why are there so many empty houses here? These houses have been vacant for a while now. You need not worry. I was sure that I had passed by here earlier, but I didn't notice any abandoned buildings back then. They couldn't have left so suddenly in just half a day, could they? An uneasy feeling started to fester inside me. Here we are. Yeah, this is as sus as it gets, brother. Just leave. We stopped before a house that looked much like every other house in the town. He stepped inside. I hesitated at the entrance before trailing behind him. Come on in. No need to be shy. Do you want something to drink? No thanks. The man hesitated, grunted, and led me down the hallway. I only wanted to use the phone and get out. All the weirdness of the day had me on edge. But what if I still couldn't reach anyone? Where would I go? I was balancing a fine line between hope and despair. The call could probably be what would topple me in either direction. All right, here you are. The phone was one of those old-fashioned ones that had a cord attached to the receiver. At least it had buttons instead of rotary dial. I picked up the receiver and tried a number. Am I doing something wrong? There's no dial tone. Huh? Let me see. He took the receiver from my hand and pressed a few buttons. He let out a disappointed sigh. Not again. Those damn rodents keep getting to my cables. I'll go take a look at it. Feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, in case you get thirsty. He fetched a small bottle of soda from the kitchen and gave it to me and went into the basement. It smelled like it wouldn't be able to... It seemed like I wouldn't be able to leave quite soon. Once I had a drink in my hand, I started to get thirsty. I'm gonna look around. Look around. What should I check out? Check out pictures. Music's back. I took a look at the pictures taken on the wall. There weren't too many, but he seemed to be pretty cheerful in all of them. Especially the ones with his dog. For some reason, I didn't see it around. Nothing else caught my eye. Yeah, where's the pupper? All the animals are missing because they're eating SCP plants that turn them into abhorrent eldritch beasts. Pretty much. Take the living room. I'm not standing in the living room? It was only one room over. Surely he wouldn't mind. He said I should feel at home, after all. The living room was minimalistic and unimpressive. The TV stood in a corner, gathering dust. Sandman! His bookshelf was well maintained, on the other hand. I looked over the books. He seemed pretty interested in biology. Maybe he was a teacher or even a researcher, just like myself. I'd love to chat with him about his field sometime once I get out of this mess. I chose a random book and opened it. I quickly shut it to recheck the title. It seemed like I had pulled out a fantasy book instead of a biology text. Evolutionary Development, a practical study guide. That would be a rather weird name for a fantasy novel, but the depictions on the page confirmed it being fiction. The pages showed drawings of creatures I'd never seen before, accompanied by detailed graphs and diagrams. I guess this could be one of those fake science art pieces like what the Vinich manuscriptures theorized to be. Yeah, something like that. I returned the book and went back out into the hall. All right, it's all done. I jumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. No, it's fine. Good thing you didn't catch me snooping around. The phone should be working now. Feel free to give it a try. I'll give you some space. Call me when you're done. Thanks. It's better than most. He took that bottle I had drunk from her and left it through. He took the bottle I had drunk from earlier and left through the hallway. I had some odd sense of deja vu. I shook it off and started dialing some numbers. They were the same that I had already tried on the girl's mobile phone. Once again, they failed to connect. How could that be? I was 100% certain that the numbers I had were correct. I tried all the numbers of friends, family, even colleagues I could think of until finally, a woman. Yes, hello? It was a woman's voice that I didn't recognize. I was certain that I had dialed the number of one of my worker colleagues. Excuse me, isn't this Tom's telephone number? I don't know who that is. Are you another scam caller? Don't call me again. I'm not giving everyone a voice. Fuck that. She hung up. All right, something was definitely wrong here. It might be best to talk to the man and see if he could help me somehow. Maybe he had a clue as to how I could get home. I think he might be transdimensional. That's possible. Because then if he's transdimensional, then the numbers wouldn't work. That would make sense. That would explain him waking up out of nowhere. That would explain the strange creatures. That might explain the strange creatures and the odd feeling town. The odd feeling town is the strange creatures, and the strange creatures would be explained by transdimensionalism, as well as the numbers. The numbers would also be explained, and the wake up. Because when you jump dimensions, you're probably not, unless you're ready for it, you're probably not going to wake up normally. But yeah, this might be transdimensionalism, or maybe he's just crazy. He might just be straight up crazy. Maybe he had a clue as to how I could get back home, blah, blah, blah. I crept down the hall. He went this way, right? I began to hear some murmuring. A steady chill ran down my back. Sound was coming from the basement. Why do you keep going down squeaky basements? The old floorboard squealed beneath my toes. I saw flickers of weak light coming from down the steps. I took them so as gently as I could, as I held a hand around my mouth to quiet my breath. I reached the bottom and turned a corner. It was just before the man knelt before a big cage, a small lamp next to him, and held something up to the bars. He hissed to whatever inside. Yes, yes. You have the scent now, don't you? We must take care of this one tonight. He's curious. He will find the secrets much faster than the others. No, no, no. We can't have him making something like that. Like you, too. It's kill or be killed in this town. What the fuck? My stomach dropped from beneath me, and as I heard the horrible scratching from inside the cage, I took a step back, bumping into the wall. Before I could react, it accidentally switched the main light on. The sudden floor of white blinded me for a moment. Once my eyes adjusted, the first thing I saw was it. Holy shit, dude. What is that? It looks awesome and crazy. Holy shit. The man was screaming at me, but I could barely think about him. I couldn't look away from that creature. It was cowering inside a dirty cage that seemed to be too small for it. It had features of a human, but I could also see some elements that were distinctly dog-like. Its mouth was way too big, and the inside of it was filled with seemingly random set teeth, or at least something that resembled teeth. Worst of all, though, were the enormous eyes staring right back at me. The man fumbled with a lock on the cage. My feet finally began to move. Dip, nigga! Dip! I ran out of the house and into the street. All the while, one thought was frantically running through my mind. I had to get out. I had to get away from this demented town. With this thought clouding my mind, I didn't realize that I had exited the town already and was now on a big grassy plain. Breathing heavily and with fear flooding my mind, I had almost not noticed how heavily my legs had become. Soon I was struggling to stay on my feet, and my vision slowly darkened from exhaustion and panic. I wanted to look back to see how close the monster was, but it was too afraid of seeing it right behind me. I gathered my courage and quickly glanced behind me, and to my surprise, the thing wasn't following. I didn't know if it had ever followed me in the first place, but it seemed like the man wanted to send it after me to kill me. Realizing that I was safe for now, I stopped. My legs were numb, and I almost gave in, but I managed to just keep standing. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. It couldn't be real. There was no way to explain what I had seen, and every inch of my body repulsed the idea of such a monster existing. But I had to see it with my own two eyes. I had seen it with my own two eyes. I continued on, a slow pace this time, and soon came to a small but quickly flowing river. It was a good night to get my clothes wet. It wasn't a good night to get my clothes wet, but it looked small enough for me to jump over with a running start. I wasn't the athletic type, but I managed to leap over the gap. After walking for what felt like hours, I caught a glimpse of a town. It looked quite a bit bigger than the one I had just left. The concrete buildings looked like needles from the distance. I wasn't fully sure that I felt what I felt at that moment. Part of it was relieved about seeing civilization and being able to look for help. Another part was still in shock over what I had just experienced, but I was too tired to try to make sense of it. And so I pushed myself onwards, using the remainder of my strength that I had left. Soon it's going to be over, was what I had naively kept mumbling to myself as I dragged myself closer towards the next nightmare. Ooh. Hi, game director here. Thank you for trying out Mycorrhiza's demo. This game has been in development for way longer than one would think, and I'm happy to finally be able to share it with you. Whether you're a horror manga nerd or have never read one, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you picked up on the dynamic audio implements as well. As someone who's mainly been a composer and sound designer for visual novels, I made sure to use my expertise in that area to make sure this game's audio a bit more special. You might even notice a change in the title screen theme, now that you've finished the first act. Double wink. If you'd like to help Mycorrhiza in the best way it can be, then please consider sharing your opinion on it with us. Click on the text and open the survey page in the browser. I'm not going to take a survey. I'm going to upload a fucking video and then send a link to the fucking page it's posted at. Don't worry. Your survey's been answered. That's it, man. And if you'd like to be kept up to date on the game's progress, see exclusive teasers, and chat with us about your favorite horror manga, then check it out on Twitter. And while we're on the topic of Twitters, if you're ever craving for some new horror manga to read, I recommend checking out Horror Manga REC. Twitter account full of recommendations. Not that the first door was finally been opened, I'll work hard to make sure that the second one will be opened as soon as possible. You can click on the names of the people in the credits that are marked in gray. These are hyperlinks to their social medias. You can also find them in the About section. Brother, that was fucking dope. I'm not even gonna front. I've never had a manga. I barely interacted in the game, right? Right? It actually scared me though. It scared me. I was scared. The next door isn't there. No, the main thing's the same. Maybe it's not. That was awesome. I love the art style. I love the black and white. Reminds me of what is it? Not Little Nightmares. What is that like game about the kid that goes crazy and he like kills his sister, or his sister kills herself and then he goes and leaves. It might be called Little Nightmares. Or Nightmare House, or Darkest Night, something like that. The one that has the same kind of feeling art style. Fucking love that. This was awesome. The audio, delicious. The character design, delectable. The monster, bro, I'm a kinky bastard. It was great. Great. Undeniable. Holy shit. I wonder how long it took. I'm not gonna check. I'm just gonna end the video. So, yeah. There's nothing to say. I mean, fuck. There's little story elements I would get rid of. I've made fun of the redundancy. It was funny, but it didn't break anything up, though. It felt really good. It was all cohesive, continuous. I hope I did a good job speaking the lines, though. At least a little bit of a good job. I didn't want to be too goofy. I was pretty goofy. Maybe I should speak goofy. Do you guys want me to be a goofy line reader or not? Tell me in the comments. Maybe subscribe so you can see my face again, or hear my voice again, or even click that like button just to leave some love. You don't have to do all the extra shit where you have to be tied to this video on my channel forever. You can just leave a like. I'm fine with that too. But with that being said, this here is the end of the video. So without further ado, I must finish bidding you adieu. Hopefully you enjoyed your time here. And I'll be seeing you in the next episode of whatever I happen to upload. If you didn't, you know, sucks to suck. Didn't like it? Like I said, leave a comment. Tell me. Anyways, this is the end. So without further ado, I will be bidding you adieu. Anyways, yeah, this was awesome. Thanks, guy. You're real good at games. Later, y'all.